What's up, family? Welcome back to Epic Talks. If you're talking about it, we're talking about it. What does that mean? I believe that every person needs a place and a space that they can come as a one-stop shop whenever they are looking for knowledge, for information, or for answers. So the question I would ask you is, where do you go to when something jumps off in life and faith and business? If you got questions about the Bible, about business, any area of your life, relationships, where do you go? Well, we wanted to create a space. We refer to it as Epic Talks, where culturally, the things that you're talking about, the questions that you're asking, is you have a place for it. Now, of course, it's really hard to address everything every time, but we always try to be relevant. Because I started realizing there are certain things you can get into in a sermon on Sunday. There are certain things you can get into in a coaching session. There are certain things you can get into in a podcast or in social media content, but it is rare that you create a space that you can get everything in one place. So I was like, man, what would it be like to create something that that is a one-stop shop that provides conversations surrounding business, the Bible? So it could be a Bible study, it could be interviews, allows you the opportunity to get your fix of everything, because nobody wants to eat the same thing every day. Well, it's the same thing with our soul and with our spiritual life. We crave spontaneity and a piece of clarity and predictability. So it's crazy that we want things somewhat to be predictable, but if it's too predictable, we get bored. So we need that flexibility in our lives, and we want to create that. So fam, welcome back. Here's what I'm excited about tonight. We get a chance to get into relationships. Yeah. Relationships. Well, at this time, Valentine's Day was yesterday. So we are on side chick Wednesday now. If maybe he was working, maybe she was busy, but that's the ongoing joke of what we refer to it as. I felt it'd be a good time to take time and talk relationship. And you always know everything we do is rooted biblically in the truths that we believe, because here's what I truly like to know, right? We are all humans, so we have aspects of our life, from career to finances to relationships to businesses. But what we do differently as believers is we just view all of it with the glasses of our relationship with God, right? So it's not that we don't have frustration. It's not that we don't have pain. It's not that we don't have people hating on us. It's not that we don't have people we want to go off on. It's not that we don't deal with hardship. The only difference of those who are believers from others is that we have the glasses to where our prescription for us to see life through the lens of how Christ would want us to see it. So if that's the case, every so often you need to get your prescription fixed, fam. You need somebody to say, yo, you're seeing that wrong. You're seeing that through the lens of your emotions. You're seeing that through the lens of frustration. You're seeing that through the lens of culture. And the job of faith spaces and conversations like this, it helps us readjust. Like, I remember years ago, people were all arguing when Steve Harvey came out with the 90-day rule. And like, I grew up in church, right? So you had people that were from church that was like, well, no, you shouldn't be doing it at all until you get married. And then you had culture saying, well, 90 days. And then you had some people saying first night, it don't matter. If you give it to him on the first night and he leave, he was going to leave anyway, right? So when arguments happen in relationship or how fast to have sex, well, family, we as believers just got to figure out, what prescription. Are we using the prescription of friends, of family, of college, of our body, right? Or are we using the lens of our faith? So the way I live my life and lead people in the area of faith, and I'm blessed, that I get a chance to lead those of faith. I get to lead the Epic Nation, a body of believers that merges both faith, business, and personal development in one place. Well, I believe we have to develop our faith. We have to develop businesses and things we do to be able to earn a living, to take care of ourselves, and develop personally to be our best self. Well, I always am big on life happens to all of us. So pain is what we have in common. How we deal with it is our differences. So how we view a thing is how we respond to it. I gave you a mouthful, but let me say it this way. Like, pain is what we all have in common. We all go through something. We all go through heartbreak. Whether you've been saved your whole life or whether you trying to figure out what you believe in, that does not mean you never going to get your heart broken. That doesn't mean that you're going to choose wrong. Getting saved does not mean that you have perfected how to choose the perfect spouse, how to choose the perfect husband, how to choose the perfect woman. So pain is what we all have in common. Getting saved does not mean that you might not have mama mess with your mama. It doesn't mean that your relationship with your mom will be perfect. It doesn't mean that your dad won't be absent or he won't be present and there'll be some rift. It doesn't mean that you won't be estranged from cousins, right? And I think we got to stop whitewashing this stuff. So I'm saying pain is what we all have in common. It's going to be something won't work out the way that we plan. This is life's reality. The difference is the perspective. How do you view it and how we respond to it? Because how you see it is how you respond to it. So tonight, I gave you a mouthful. For the next few minutes, I'm going to break down what I refer to as the 3 rules or the 3 commandments of relationship, fam. I'm trying to help our glasses as it relates to a relationship to be able to put these things on. And how do I see the person I spend the rest of my life with, the person I spend one night with, the person I go on dates with, or the person that I am meditating on? Should I slide in their DMs or not? Well, family, I'm going to give you some framework on this, and you should write this down. You should probably invite somebody right now. You should tag someone and holler at me in the comments if you're watching alone, but I think you shouldn't. I think you ought to put this out to someone because this is one of those dope conversations. And I'll be honest, these 3 rules are rules that I pulled from a book I wrote some years ago. Some years ago, I wrote a book entitled Cuffing Season, 10 Mandatory Rules, right? It's Cuffing Season, 10 Mandatory Rules for Dating, Love, Sex, and Relationship. Now, some would say, Marcus, are you a relationship expert? Let me give a disclaimer. I am not. But the book was not written just for how you deal with your boo, your bae, right? So I'm married, so I am blessed that I've been able to find the person that I want to spend the rest of my life with. But it doesn't mean that I've mastered relationships. It just means that in one area I've been able to navigate the season of singleness and choose someone. And now it's like a whole new test I got to take to navigate the season of marriage, right? But when I wrote the book, I was single, and I wrote the book from a perspective of what would I say to my unborn son or my unborn daughter about how, like, I feel like as parents, we're supposed to give a roadmap to how to navigate life. So I was like, what roadmap, what advice would I give to my unborn son or daughter or how to navigate relationships? How do you choose? I think one of the most critical decisions you'll ever make in your life after choosing Christ is the person you choose to spend the rest of your life with. Right? So this leads me to my first rule and why I wrote the book, and I'll give it to you. So rule number 1, and it is really, really hard, and you ought to write this down. Be careful with your choice. Rule number 1 is be careful, or commandment number 1, thou shalt be careful with your choice. Thou shalt be careful with your choice, or be careful with your choice. Now, why do I say this? The most fragile thing about it, I'm going to say it one more time, holla at me, be careful with your choice. Now please hear this, the most delicate thing about all of us is our heart and our attention. Like, just think about it. If you break a hand, it's uncomfortable and you'll be in pain, but the doctor could tell you it takes 6 to 8 weeks to heal. If you sprain an ankle, they'll say elevate it and stay off of it, ice it, and if you sprain it, you'll be fine. If you fracture the ankle, family, you can have surgery and have it fixed. Any part of your body has a timeline for healing, that it could easily be healed. When you start dealing with aspects of the brain, or whether it's a fractured nose, or if you got in a car accident or broke a finger, all of these things have timelines. Our heart does not. When a heart is broken, family, this could take decades. This is why we know people who got broken up with in college and decided that they will never be with one person. You can have people who now here's the crazy part, and we think that our heart is only dedicated and relegated to those we have romantic relationships with. But when you think about, there are men who dealing with the trauma of their father not being there or their mother not being there, the broken heart of abandonment issue shows up in their dating life. So it is not just the person that you make love to that affects your heart or breaks your heart. It's also the people the family that you were born to. I'm going to say it one more time. It's not just, like, don't miss this. It is not just the person that you make love to. It's the family that you're born to that can break your heart. And the family that you're born to, the apex of that could affect you sometimes for longer periods of time than a broken heart with somebody that you made love to, somebody that you gave too much too soon, not enough too much, somebody who you went half on the rent, somebody who you signed on someone who you spent weekends and years with is different from the the family you were born into. So now you're like, Marcus, this makes no sense. You said be careful how you choose. Well, family, You don't choose your family, but you choose how long you allow the effects of it. So I want to talk about how you choose the emotion you feel in a family, and then I want to talk about the people you choose in an intimate relationship. Ain't that crazy? Now, the people, when we talk about in a family, you cannot control the family that we were born into. Life is life. You can't control when mama met daddy, daddy met mama, daddy slapped mama on the booty and said, girl, you're going to be mine. Mama backed that thing up and said, I'm already yours. I'm already yours. Right? You cannot control none of that stuff. So it was not you choosing the family you'll be born to. That's not your choice. It was the choice of your mom and your dad. You can choose the environment you were born into. If you were born into poverty, that is not your choice. You inherited that. You can't choose if your dad was stingy with compliments and now you're like, man, I just wish I had somebody to love me, or stingy with love, or if you had I love the way one person said, a mother didn't cover and a father that wouldn't bother. You can't choose the dynamics of that. Now, as you grow up, the one thing you can choose, family, like now please don't hear this wrong. This is the hardest part I'm gonna tell you. Please don't hear this wrong. When you start dealing with the family structure, I cannot choose the family I was born into. But the older I get to choose how much control they have over my heart. Ooh, you're like, no. It's a natural affection. Honoring your father and your mother, that their days may be longer, is biblical. But spending all of my time in an environment that is toxic, abusive, and that affects all the aspects of what I believe about me, to feel like my self-worth is not there, to feel like nobody will ever love me, to choose people that treat me the same way of the environment. If it is taking from me and altering what God wanted for me, that cannot be the environment that I completely give all of myself to. Now, I can give honor where honor is due, but I do not have to give my time, attention, and the fullness of my heart to someone who continues to break it. If somebody throws something down every time you hand it to them, you stop handing it to them. Does that mean that you don't honor people? Does that mean that you don't love them? No. You do know you can love from a distance, because love does not require proximity. Write that down. Love does not require proximity. Like, come on, let me make an example. You can be in a long distance relationship, and because the person lives out of the country, it doesn't mean you love them less. You would love to spend more time around them. Love does not demand proximity. You can live in one place and your heart lives in another. So you can love someone from a distance. I can have love, honor, and respect for a person that I have determined I can no longer give proximity and access to my life. I can no longer give you my undivided time, attention, my words that you discredit. I can no longer spend my present time with someone I don't see a future with. I respect and honor what you've meant to me and what you are to me. I don't discredit you are my family. But there is a point in your life that you've got to choose you. That's the first choice you make in family, where you've got to make the choice that when this is taking more from me than it is deposited and given to me, I've got to choose me. When leaving your presence, I am not better, but I'm worse. I've got to choose me. So, right, love does not require proximity. Love does not require proximity. Love does not require proximity. All right. So we talked about you cannot choose the family you were born to, but when I talk about choosing as it relates to family, I'm talking about choosing the portions of your heart, choosing the consistency, the frequency. How consistent? I want to check on my family once a month, but I know that I don't hang with them every holiday. You choose. I'm talking about from a heartbreak standpoint, right? The most fragile thing that we have is our heart. So we now rule number one or commandment number one, be careful how you choose, right? You got that. So let's close the chapter on that part. Let's move now to the intimate relationships. When I say be careful how you choose, family, we've got to ask ourselves, so if the most fragile thing that there is no timeline for healing, which is our hearts, and we stamp our heart fragile, hoping that each person will handle it with care. Did you hear the way I worded that? Oh, we stamp our heart fragile, hoping that each person will handle it with care. And sometimes they don't. Some people are clumsy with a thing that is valuable to us. Some people are in a rush and they drop it. Some people, please don't miss this, got too many things in their hand to hold on to our hearts. Oh, say it again. Say it again. Say it again. Got too many things in their hand so they can't hold on to our heart. Got too many things. Okay. Some people have too many things in their hands. So now You need them to hold on to your heart with a level of care. You're like, bro, I need you to compliment me. I need intentionality. I need words of affirmation. I need gifts. I need all of these things. And sometimes people's hands are so full of themselves, their problems, their pain, their trauma, that they can't hold on to our heart with care because they need from us the same thing we need from them. And one of us got to give up something. So, how do you choose who to give your heart to? Be careful how you choose. I believe that each person should monitor. Don't miss this. Here's the strategy for this. If rule number one is be careful with my heart, and I told you what to do with family, now I'm telling you what to do with intimate relationships. Check this out, family. How do you choose? I believe that each person should monitor, here's the rule, how a person treats themselves. I believe we should monitor how a person treats themselves. You've been in a relationship with you long before I got in the picture. So if you have never learned how to treat you, it is going to be extremely hard. So you don't give yourself no grace. How you going to give me some? You don't. Hey, when's the last time you made time for yourself? You make no time for yourself. How you going to make time for me? Now, now here's the caveat. I know before I get the YouTube police, there are people who could give to people in a way they don't give to themselves. Well, here's the problem with that. This is where codependency and dysfunction typically happens. When a person does, like, think about this. If all of us is what I call, I believe all of us have what I call a love account. So if all of us have a love account, how do I continue to make deposits into your heart if I never make none into mine? To give you love, I must have self-love. So if there is no self-love in me, where do I get the love from to give it to you? At the first moment that you cannot recognize or celebrate me or do something that I would like, well, family, a person becomes depleted, and that comes out and shows up in different ways and different personality types. And if they don't have the skill and the emotional intelligence of communicating, saying, hey, I feel this way, sometimes people act out what they truly feel. They can't add words to emotion. So I always monitor how a person treats themselves. Are they consistent? Are they faithful? Are they committed? Do they have a schedule? Do they have a regiment? Do they prioritize family? Do you read? Like, what do you do for fun? So if all the areas of your life, there's no consistency. So I say you look at it that way. And the second thing I look at, which leads me to rule number two, I look at what I refer to as emotional employment. Meaning, are they employed on the business of working on their heart? Because the last thing you want is to get the whooping that they wish they would have given their ex. So are you unemployed in the area of working on you in the area of self-love and insecurities and uncertainty? Because insecurities can turn into control. Are you employed? Are you actively working on you? No unemployment. If you are unemployed in the area of working on yourself, how are you going to work on a relationship with me? All right. So be careful how you choose. Rule number two, and this is not, here's what's crazy. Like, what I just gave you is not a rule in the book. And this is not to get you to buy the book either, because it's like, I don't even really be selling it. All right. So rule number two, I'll refer to this one. Now, rule number one, or commandment number one, be careful how you choose. Commandment or rule number two is what I refer to as no bankruptcies. No bankruptcies. No bankruptcies. No bankruptcies. No bankruptcies. And y'all gonna love rule number three. I'm struggling because I got two different things, but I'll give you rule number two, no bankruptcies. Here's the idea behind it. The idea behind no bankruptcies, family, is that relationships, are you with me? Relationships require the daily deposits of two people in a multitude of categories. Financially, emotionally, sexually, after you back it up, then stop, then what? Okay, sexually. So we all have a multitude of accounts that we want someone to deposit in. We want our sexual account to be deposited in. We want our emotional account to be deposited in. We want, please don't miss this. All of us love some compliments. Like, this is an area of our emotions. We want financially, emotionally, sexually, physically, intimately. We want to laugh. We want humor. We want, like, there are so many accounts that we all have in order to be happy, to be whole, to be successful. We want to know that the person we love what we love. Like, even this is not your thing, do you have the ability to deposit into an account, into an area of my life that I care about that you don't care about? Are you large enough and big enough a person to contribute to something that you won't benefit from, but you know it makes me happy? So the reason I say no bankruptcies is because a person that is emotionally broke cannot deposit into anything. They can't deposit into themselves or into you. So in these commandments, family, the Bible says this clearly, he says, the Bible begins to talk about the greatest commandment. It said, love the Lord your God and love your neighbor as you love yourself. Now, if we broke this down, love the Lord your God, and then it goes into, it says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul, and all your strength. So these are different aspects of who I am. So love the Lord your God with all the aspects of who you are. And then love your neighbor as you love yourself. Some would skip over that, right? And say, love the Lord your God and then love your neighbor. No, it says love your neighbor as you love yourself, meaning that the portion of what I give to you is a direct connection to what I have in me. I'm going to say it one time. The portion of what I give to you is in direct connection to what I give to me. So how can I love my neighbor as I love myself if I have nothing inside the bank account of the love I have for myself? There ain't nothing to give. Do you got 5 on it? And I ain't got it. I ain't got it. So where does the love come from in the love account? I believe, love the Lord your God, that my love towards God deposits into my life a level of self-love, deposits a level of clarity. Agape is what the Bible refers to, which is unconditional love. The ability to love people unconditionally is a gift given by God, who is love. So love the Lord your God, no bankruptcies. It is, let me say it this way, love is a God deposit. So when God deposits love into the hearts of humanity, we all crave it, we all desire it. But here's the thing, dysfunctional love desires to receive but never to give. But God so loved that he gave. It shows that the functionality of love is that one who is filled with love gives love. One who is not filled with love does not give love. One who is filled with forgiveness gives forgiveness. One who is not filled does not give it. One who is filled with the fruit of the Spirit gives the fruit of the Spirit. One who is not filled with it does not give it. So God, who is love, makes God deposits the deposit of love into the hearts of humanity, that we all should have it and we all should give it. Ooh, air horn. We got to applaud. That was good. That was so good. Like, listen, you didn't clap for me, so I clap for myself. So are you hearing what I'm telling you? I'm talking about no bankruptcies, that every person, I've got to ask the question, if you are emotionally broke, what you do with what you had? What'd you do with it? What'd you do with what you had? If you are emotionally broke, what did you do with it? What did you do with what you had? Where'd it go? What happened to your God deposit? All right, I got to move. I got to move. All right, this is so good. This is so good. I got to move. So we talked about be careful how you choose. Number 2, no bankruptcies. And number 3, man, this is so good. And this is what I want to warn you of. Number 3 is what I call no romantic blinders. This leads me to what I believe what was popping off on Valentine's Day. And y'all don't get me started. Like, I don't celebrate Valentine's Day. Like, my lady already know how we get down. And mine is more spiritual, right? So I've got a bunch of spiritual reasons of why I do not. That goes all the way back to Rome and like who it represents and all that. All right, cool. I have no shade to any of y'all. I just want to tell you where I stand with it, okay? All right, so, but I do celebrate the idea of loving the people that love you. I'm talking about like in a big way, real big. All right, so here we go. The third root, no romantic blinders. You ought to be writing this down. No romantic blinders. Now, when I say no romantic blinders, fam, I am referring to, I'm going to define this for you. You ought to write this down. Romantic blinders. I'm putting my glasses right here. Romantic blinders are the glasses of the naive used to excuse away what they can see in plain sight. Romantic blinders are the glasses of the naive used to excuse away what they can see in plain sight. All right, what do I mean by that? Romantic blinders allows you to overlook what is visible to everybody. It is the obvious right in front of you. The reason why I say no romantic blinders is because I would rather you acknowledge, see, address, and communicate what's missing than put on romantic blinders and ignore it as if it's not missing. All right, let me make it simple. If you know that you are not attracted to somebody Romantic blinders, because you're so in love with love, would make you take that love and place it on anybody and say, well, I ain't really that. To me, it ain't even about the looks. Now, if it's not, cool, but if it is, don't lie to yourself. Take those romantic blinders off, being so excited about love that you ignore the fact that you don't like what you see. Like, we got to be honest. If you are a visual man or woman, man, do not marry a woman that does not look like what you want her to look like and make her feel bad about what she already looked like. The glasses of the naive, to be naive about what you want and what you need, and to excuse away what's in plain sight. If there is no compatibility, and you're like, well, as we spend more time together, we'll be more compatible. No, compatibility does not grow through spending of time. You just get to learn more things about the person that you don't like. Romantic blindness allows you to make excuses for things that are not present. Now, there are people that are in relationships and put on romantic blinders and are so naive, thinking that things will self-correct, that things will just happen on their own, and that more time will fix everything. Some would say time heals all wounds. Well, okay, I get it, but time doesn't heal all wounds if the wound is being inflicted by the person that's involved in it, right? We're talking about time heals all wounds when a person allows separation to let the wound heal. But how does time heal a wound when, let's just say, your arm is broken if the person who broke it keep on hitting it? Right? Romantic blinders puts on naive glasses and ignore what is in plain sight. Lack of compatibility, lack of consistency, to keep arguing and begging someone for the bare minimum, to keep looking for what is not present, to, in essence, loan someone what you do not see and what you know do not have. I'm trying to tell you, love is one of them things, family, where all parties got to be involved. We cannot have blinders and just be so blind to the idea. Like, I get it. I get we all want love. We want to give it, receive it. We want to be in healthy and whole relationships. We want friendships. But I'm not naive enough to think, right? So I always say, I'm a big enough person to forgive people without apology, but I ain't a fool enough to keep inviting you into my space. I'm gonna say that cleaner. I am a big enough person to forgive people without an apology, but I ain't dumb enough or naive enough to invite you into my space. Meaning, I can forgive you, but that don't mean I'm inviting you back around me. Right? I don't have romantic blinders. I can admit what you did was wrong. I can also admit that I love you. And then I can make the mature choice to do what's needed and what's necessary. Now, whether that's in relationship, to end something that I know that is not fruitful, to begin something, family, with clarity to say, this is what it is. Define it for what it is. Right? I always say wrong direction equals wrong destination. Meaning, you can't go in the wrong direction and end up in the right destination. So romantic blinders is this naive idea that you can go the wrong way and still end up in the right place. You cannot go in the wrong way and end up in the right place. Okay. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. You cannot go the wrong way and end up in the right place, which means there has to be a spiritual U-turn that you put on the glasses that allows you to not have romantic blinders where you are blind to the facts, but you have clarity to say, this is who I am, this is who they are, this is what I want. Like, that's the prescription. This is who I am. I know I'm a type of person that love affection. I know I'm a type of person that need this, want this. You clear on what you need, right? This is what they are. This is what I want. Now, where does this line up? And if I could see all three, I can make a decision. But if I'm blind and I don't see me, I don't see them, and I don't see what I want, well, family, I'm going to continue to be disappointed. And here's the real reality when we do this with romantic blinders. We break our own heart with false expectations. That's so good. We break our own heart with false expectations. Family, I'm going to end right there. I think I gave you a lot. We might need to pick this conversation back up on Sunday. It's so good, man, and really talk about relationship a little deeper on this. But let's pause right there. I want to make sure if you are not connected to the Epic Nation that you connect with us. You can text the word. E-Nation to 74121. E-Nation. So many amazing things going on. It is not just coming on and giving you messages like this, but we are a community of faith that we provide within our space, spiritual development, that we grow in our relationship with God. Business development, and that does not mean you have to be an entrepreneur, but I'm talking about the advancement and the celebration of us in our careers, because I believe that what we do for a living is purposeful. I believe kingdom takes center stage when we do what we're gifted at and we're paid well and love doing. All right. Because we're serving someone through it. Last but not least, personal development, that I'm really big on time management. I'm big on self-development, emotional intelligence, that you grow and develop as a person. So that's what we're about. We call it our core three. If you would love to be a part of that, whether it's the brotherhood, the sisterhood, our giving back with what we call Epic Cares, want to make sure that we make that available for you. You can join us on Sundays, Wednesdays, and so many other ministries that are happening throughout the week. I love you to life. It's been another phenomenal time of Epic Talks. We'd love to hear back from you and see how you enjoyed this. I'll see you in a minute. Yeah, that's perfect. So that's going to be the main angle. So we got, what, 4 cameras? Yeah, I want to make sure visually they can see everything. Well, since you're here being nosy, what up? Here's what I want you to do. Make sure you don't miss this Sunday. You can come with your bonnet on. You can pull up with your do-rag on. Online only. The Epic Nation every Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Pull up this Sunday, 12 p.m. The Epic Nation. What y'all doing? Get out of here.
Teaching that we get and the information that we get within the Epic Nation is that it can be added to everyday life. It's practical. It's practical teaching where you can add it to your personal life, your relationship life, your spiritual life, and your financial life. So that is what makes it different. It is a teaching that no one is out here right now teaching on how to balance your life in all 3 of those core areas so that you can live a life in abundance in all of those areas.